The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild begins in darkness. A voice coaxes you out of your resting chamber, a place that has existed long before you were placed inside of it. You step outside and feel small. Fields, hills, and mountains stand before the horizon. You see a creature beyond physical form, swallow the focal point of Hyrule, and are told to stop it. You are guided through trials across an isolated plateau by a nameless old man who happens to be the lingering spirit of King Rome Bosphoramus Hyrule, a man slain by the Guardians controlled by the Calamity Ganon, the same monster who ruined the future of Hyrule and knocked on the doors of thousands of lives, ending them with searing fire and destruction. His final act in this world is to deliver his message to you that you must save his daughter from total annihilation at the Maw of Apocalypse incarnate. You were told that you served her as a knight of honor. But you are weak. You fight like a bitch, run like a bitch, you can't climb for shit, can't swim for shit. You stub your toe and you cry about it. You have 3 hearts and 1 wheel of stamina, yet you are a hero? You learn throughout the story of what happened to Link, the Hylian champion who was just totally able to solo 3 Lionels and their squad of goons with 1 weapon like it's nothing, and set against the endless army of mechanical weapons until he couldn't stand anymore. You were respected. You were to be feared. You were as noble as you could get, appointed to protect the princess herself. It would be an understatement to claim that you are now a shell of that hero. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild begins with one message. You have lost everything. Hello Goobers, Ghosty here. Intro thing aside, I'm sure you can tell already by the subject matter, presentation, and runtime of this video, this is going to be different from my normal content. Splatoon is probably going to remain my main thing, but a little indie game that you probably haven't heard about came out like whenever ago, and I wanted to talk about it in some detail because holy tits, I think it deserved it. I've never done long form stuff before, so I hope you can find enjoyment out of my love for these silly little games. Also, when I get into Tears of the Kingdom stuff, I'll give a spoiler warning then for what I'm actually going to talk about, so don't worry about spoilers for now. Anyways, where were we? Alright, yeah, you suck. Link and the state of the world are closely linked when portraying the effects of the Calamity. Take for example, the Temple of Time, an iconic landmark in the Zelda series. What once stood as an otherworldly, enchanting landmark, gateway into the secret realm and the home of the Master Sword, has now decayed. This is even reflected in the theme, a slow, melancholic song compared to the powerful nature of the Temple of Time that came before it. You yourself are a reminder of a bygone time in your musty-ass clothes, clinging to a badly damaged stick. Your first little moment of empowerment comes with the retrieval of the paraglider, literally giving you the wings to soar where you see fit across the now free kingdom of Hyrule. I could obviously talk about how this game has goated game design and how it kind of like revolutionized what it means to be an open world video game these days, but I want to skip ahead to 3 key instances. The first being more of a gameplay thing rather than a moment in the game, the shrines. The shrines are built as a test to the hero who will rise to defeat the Calamity, helping him restore the power he lost upon awakening. These tests teach you different things, like how to not fight like a bitch, elaborate puzzle-solving skills, or how to cheese an entire shrine using motion controls. The spirit orbs you receive are your prize, which over time culminate. If you're truly immersed in the gameplay loop of Breath of the Wild, you'll find yourself building more and more over time. And suddenly, you don't die in one hit to a black bokoblin. You can climb that mountain, you can cross that body of water. The game is always building you up towards greater and greater things, such as one of my favorite moments in any Zelda game. When you arrive in the Lost Woods for the first time, you of course don't recognize the Great Deku Tree, the home and the father figure of numerous Koroks that find joy in life in the solace of the forest. You set your eyes on the centerpiece of the woods, between 3 rocks trapped in the pedestal, the Master Sword. The Great Deku Tree warns you that you need to possess a certain amount of hearts before you can even attempt to wield it. You might try to pull it anyway, only to fail. Another reminder that you are not who you were 100 years ago. But if you continue, if you gain more spirit orbs and learn more techniques to help you survive the ending world, you may return. And the sword is waiting for you. After a long, tense scene of watching your hearts deplete faster and faster, doubting if you're as strong as you think, The sword that seals the darkness is in your hands. This then activates a memory, showing Zelda herself carrying the blade to the very spot you're now standing, 100 years ago. The princess asks the Great Deku Tree to relay a message, but he responds with,
"Now then, words intended for him would sound much better in the tones of your voice, don't you think?"
She raises the sword and leaves it in the hands of the forest. The scene pans out as light shines upon the now lonely blade, waiting, biding time. To me, the scene says one thing to the player. You are always intended to make it to this point, not just literally in a game design way, but in a way that portrays anticipation, expectation, belief. The Great Deku Tree knew you would return. Zelda knew you would return as well. She wouldn't have brought the sword here if she didn't. Even after everything, her pressure to awaken her own power, her anger when she saw that sword that Link carried, her utter despair when the kingdom fails and falls under the rule of evil. She walks to the Lost Woods alone. She brings the sword alone, and she leaves it here alone. Her final act before facing Ganon alone. The Master Sword in Breath of the Wild can symbolize promise. The hero is always supposed to wield the sword, whether skyward bound, adrift in time, or steeped in the embers of twilight. The hero finds the blade. When Link falls, the sword acts. For the first time ever, Zelda can hear the voice inside the sword. In a way, the spirit within the Master Sword knew you would return as well. And so, even when battered and broken, she acted to ensure you would make it to her, a century later. When you've mustered the courage and respected the vision the developers had for the pacing of the game, you face the final test. Hyrule Castle. The journey throughout is arduous. You will always have a laser pointing your way, another vessel of the calamity trying to end your journey here. But you will make it successfully into the sanctum. The beating heart, a cocoon rips apart as Zelda tells you what is coming. The very being that has devastated the land long ago breaks free. It is then, when you look into the eyes of death, that something happens. Assuming you triumphed over the challenge of the 4 divine beasts and freed the spirits of your fellow champions, together, one by one, we watch as they ready their attack 100 years in the making. In this exact moment, the hope for the future carries on even after death. In this moment, you are not alone. Ganon screams as he is seared by the blinding light of the titanic war machines forged solely to kill him. The attack is brutal, and after it concludes, there is a moment where he simply cannot move. The overwhelming power you helped awaken leaves him paralyzed, if only for a moment. But the fight is not over. The apocalypse gets back up. And you unsheath that sword that seals the darkness, glowing with sacred light. Even in this moment, you may not have gained every memory or completed every shrine, but it proves one thing to the player. In this moment, you are power. And so, as it was promised, Calamity Ganon falls. If you get the true ending of the game, you'll see the spirits of the champions and King Rome vanish as they watch upon you. The king watched you climb from the Shrine of Resurrection as a husk of a hero, but now is content with moving on after seeing how far you've come. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild ends with light, ends with triumph, ends with a player who is proud of the journey they have just overcome. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom begins in darkness. The player immediately can see that the power they gained was not lost. Link has been restored to full health, full stamina, and wields the Master Sword like the hero he is. You are descending, with Princess Zelda, into territory you've never seen before. The soundtrack looms as an omen, red gloom diluting the air like malice once did. Even if you hadn't watched the trailers religiously like every Zelda fan after 2019, you know that something bad is coming, no matter how much Zelda tries to convince you otherwise.
Link! This is a huge discovery!
When the song progresses more and more, you reach an ancient chamber with a spiraling green glow protruding from an arm holding one figure in place. You investigate. The intensity rises as you descend, and as you get closer to the figure, everything culminates into one moment. Into only a few seconds, when everything inside of you tells you that they should run away, that you should run away, that what lies before you is a mistake waiting to be uncovered, as you realize what you're about to awaken, as you realize you're looking into the eyes of death. Ganondorf. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom begins with one message. You have lost everything. Alright, so quick interjection here. Considering this game literally just came out, 1, this section is going to be a bit shorter than the one about Breath of the Wild because I simply can't talk about everything yet. And 2, all of the gameplay you'll see will be from the starter island and some miscellaneous stuff that doesn't include the story. I will, however, be talking about the quests listed on the screen, including key elements to the memories you can obtain in the overworld. So if you don't want to see anything related to that, please stop watching and come back later if you want to. Do not fear, I will not show anything to do with the other main quests or the ending. When opening the game for the first time, I really wondered how they were going to match Breath of the Wild's banger opening. As soon as I saw them mimic the black screen and text they used for Breath of the Wild, I knew it was gonna rock. But my excitement really came in when I realized I was about to get fucking Metroided. Hello everyone, Ghosty here to explain the joke I just made. In Metroid games, it's pretty much tradition for you to start at full power and lose that power in the opening of the game, which gives you more incentive to slowly gain that power back and watch as you get stronger and stronger through your very own efforts. It's the kind of design that I really like and is basically what I'm going to be talking about for the next amount of minutes. Anyways, back to it. When you start with max stats, you know something is going to go down. And let's be honest, saying that Ganondorf sauces Link is an understatement. Genuinely outplayed. I mean, hey, it wouldn't be the first time you meet Ganondorf earlier than you're supposed to and getting fucking shat on, so hey, don't feel too bad about yourself. You wake up with what you started in Breath of the Wild featuring longer, sexier hair. I think the thing that really makes the state of Link set in is not the sick new arm, but the legendary blade resting with you. I think this is storytelling enough. Your sword blows. It's worse than the actual weakest weapon in the game. The only place where it is viable is to whack some weeds. Like, literally, it breaks in a few hits and never recharges. I think I actually prefer this beginning compared to Breath of the Wild from a design perspective. Link originally lost his strength because he, fucking died, but at the start of that game, that all happened 100 years ago. In this case, you see Link's power get drained from him in an instant. That man spent hours grinding shrines just for him to get served by dehydrated Daddy Dwarf who's pissed about you waking him up early. He even laughs in your face, as if everything you fought for in the last game was a joke to him. After following the game's strict instructions and going through the classic gameplay loop, you arrive at these doors in the Temple of Time. It's basically a lesser Master Sword test, but I think it's actually pretty cool. The fact that it happens so early kind of feels like the game is assuring you after your ass beating. It reflects Link's resilience. And despite almost dying, again, he opens the door, takes a dive, and arrives in the land of Hyrule Kingdom. The entire game revolves around the Master Sword and the ruin it's in. The Master Sword has been in bad condition. Take the state it was in for Breath of the Wild, for example. But the sword itself being broken is a powerful image. You wonder how it would even be possible for it to be repaired. If you follow the intended path, you've received clues about the sword's whereabouts after losing it at the start of the game. You receive all answers from the Great Deku Tree, telling you that the blade is flying, moving. Assuming you've gained all the memories up until this point, you should know what comes next. Standing on the Light Dragon's head is a little bit wild. The sword waits for you again. This time, a test of stamina because why not switch it up a bit, I guess. When you hang on for long enough, one of the strongest moments in the sequence occurs. In Breath of the Wild, the Master Sword is unleashed, broken from its chamber, now in your hands after proving your worth. But when you pull the sword in Tears of the Kingdom, It's gentle. I think it not only illustrates Zelda's wishes, but the Master Sword's as well. It feels almost underwhelming to see the sword just be let free, but I think it makes sense. After spending an eternity basking in light, slowly building strength, so have you. Both of you were gravely injured in the opening of the game, and now you're both unstoppable. The Master Sword is a weapon that conquered time to reach you, Zelda's final gift to you. Zelda makes it clear in the memory gained after pulling the sword, saying,
And when you two next face the Demon King, you will have my strength to help you through her.
I think it could even call back to my point earlier about the cyclical nature of Link's awakening and the pulling of the sword. There was no doubt, even through the dire and desperate situation you began in, that you were always meant to wield the sword as a hero. The journey you have taken has been to reach this very point, to wield the legendary blade infused with Zelda's very will, and to face the Demon King again. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I'm not sure if I'll keep doing stuff like this, but I had a lot of fun making this one. The normal content isn't going anywhere, but you might see some of this in the future. If you enjoyed my super in-depth analysis, consider hitting that wacky zany like and subscribe button. It means a lot. Also, if you haven't already, go play Tears of the Kingdom. Good game.